Hello, second grade. So we are going to be doing our chapter review. Woohoo! We made it to the end of the chapter. All right, so what you could do if you choose is stop the video and take the test, like a practice test, and then come back and then check your answers with me. I am going to go over both sides of this paper with you. Okay? And then you can see what you need to work on before you take the test. So if you're going to do that, go ahead and stop the video now, work on it, and then come back to the video. Okay, so let's start with number 1, 2, and 3. The directions say, write the number of equal parts in the whole. And then there's another part of the directions. It says, write halves. Let me circle those. Halves, thirds, or fourths to name the equal parts. Okay, so the first step is to write down how many equal parts there are. Looking at number 1, there is 1, 2, 3 equal parts. Okay. And then we want to know, is this whole divided into halves, thirds, or fourths? What do you think? If you said thirds, you are right. So now we need to write the word thirds. Okay. It is written right there in your directions if you need to spell it correctly there. All right, number 2. How many equal parts do you see? Good. There are 2 equal parts. If I was to give one of those away, you would say I gave how much to somebody? Half, right? But 2 halves, or 2 half pieces, we call halves. So let's spell that. H-A-L-V-E-S. Halves. The L is silent. All right. Number 3. How many equal parts are there? 4. And then we know because there are 4 equal parts, fourths is what we name those parts. Fourths. And you can see the word for in fourths. Okay, halves and thirds don't really name the number, but the others mostly do. All right. So now we're going to write the fraction that names the colored part of the whole. Okay, so how many colored parts do you see? Number 4. Good. 1. Out of how many parts total? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 piece out of 4 is colored. All right, let's look at number 5. 3 pieces are colored out of 3 total pieces. Good. Number 6. How many pieces are colored? 1. Out of how many? 2. Very good. All right, let's take a look at number 7. We're going to partition. Do you remember what that word means? That just means divide or cut into smaller pieces. Okay. And color the shape to match the fraction. Oh, you know what? Whenever I erased the answers, I didn't take away the colored part. Well, that's okay. They did it. I don't have to color it in then. Sorry about that, you guys. Well, if you did your practice test, that's good because you colored it in all by yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and partition first. And then you can see 2 pieces out of the 3 are colored. Okay, you don't have to circle that too. I just did that to show you. Okay, number 8. We're going to go across this way. Nice straight lines as best you can. And 3/4 of that hole is colored in. 3 pieces out of 4. Number 9, partition. And 1 out of the 2 pieces, or 1/2, should be colored. Okay. Number 10. And this is the one that is usually a biblical question. So let's see. Matt and Patty have 4 tulips to place in front of a windmill. Matt can arrange the tulips in several different ways. However, he cannot use math to find out which way is right. Why not? Okay, so what do you think? Math does not work with flowers? Well, it kind of does, because you can count flowers. We just worked with fractions in a set. We worked with the set and naming part of that set as a fraction using flowers, so that's not right. Let's look at the second one. Math cannot tell right from wrong. Well, that sounds good, but let's see what the next one says. Math does not make sense. Do you think math doesn't make sense? No, math is very orderly. Does make sense. So the right answer is math cannot tell you what is right from wrong. But what can? You're right, the Bible. All right. Let's look at the back. So they colored the fractions for us so we can compare. And we're going to write greater than, which looks like that. And I'm going to put a G here for greater than. And if it's facing the other way, it is less than. Okay? So let's see. 3/4. Is that greater than or less than 2/4? Well, we can clearly see that there's way more color over here. There's one whole piece more colored in 3/4. So 3/4 is greater than 2/4. Okay. Number 12. 1/6. Is that greater than or less than 1/8? They look very similar. But what did we learn about whenever a whole is cut into more pieces? What happens to the pieces? You're right, they get smaller. So 1/6 would be a bigger piece than 1/8 because 1/8 has more pieces. So 1/6 is greater than 1/8. Okay. 1/3. Is that greater than or less than 1/2? Okay, think about the pieces. How many pieces there are? They both have one piece colored. 1/3 is less than 1/2 because the more pieces there are, the smaller they are. Okay. Now we're going to circle the fraction that names the red part of the set. This is the lesson that you're doing this week. Hopefully you did it before this review. Okay. So we want to just look at the red part. So for number 14, what would the fraction be for the red part? Good. 3/4. Make sure you circle that. 15. What is the fraction of the red part? Good. 1/4. 16. 4/6. Okay. And then 17. This is where you have to create equal shares. 2 sisters shared 6 shells. How much did each sister get? Each sister got blank shells. So we would divide these into 2 groups. Sometimes your eye can just see it, and sometimes it's a little harder, but this group might be a little bit easier. But there's 1, 2. So sister 1 got this group, sister 2 got that group. Each sister got how many shells? 3. All right, so that's it for your review. You do have a test that you need to do. Make sure you're comfortable with everything on these 2 pages before you start the test. All right. Until next time.